Damn, man, this is like my 5th take, man. How can one commentate while having the hiccups? This shit is so. Calm down. Just do the damn video, man. Anime arena fighters versus. Oh shit, man. You may have clicked on this video with the assumption that I would delve deep into the differences and similarities between these two. Now, I may draw comparisons here and there, but overall this topic pertains solely to my experience with these two, okay? Mainly as to how I started with anime arena fighters and what caused me to transition into traditional fighters. When it comes to arena fighters, I'll be referencing one series in particular because it's the one I was solely dedicated to for years, okay? This series is known as the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm series. The specific game that had me heavily entranced within the series was Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. This was around the time I had started watching anime, which was like late 2016. That anime being Naruto, of course, alright? Now, before I knew it, man, I began expressing excessive zeal for this anime, which in turn caused my curiosity to peak for the video games that were centered around this show. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, coach, I was a tad bit worried that I wouldn't like it because it was something entirely new. All I played was GTA and FPS shooters prior to this. But you know what? I was like, let me give it a chance. Let's give it a shot, okay? And I found myself playing this demo over and over and over again to the point where I just realized that this game was meant for me to be playing. So with that being said, I became an avid player for the game. Fast forward a couple years later, this became a game that I was rather addicted to, and I don't know if it was a healthy addiction because I bought this game countless times for various reasons. This game was also the start of my YouTube career, and I had cultivated quite a reputation for myself, okay? A YouTube channel that had amassed quite an audience, 6K subscribers, and I had created a great community for the game. Of course, this took years, okay? This took years, and it was quite difficult to pull off considering I had started this around the time the game was considered to be dead. But I had pulled it off nonetheless. This was a game that I had promised myself that I would be good at, and that is a promise I kept. I ended up playing this game at the highest level. Wasn't as good as the quote-unquote top players of this anime game, but I mean, I really wasn't. I lost most, if not all, the FT5s against the insanely good players, but I could hang with most of them, you know? With that being said, my content and its community focused primarily on the competitive aspect of Naruto Storm 4. Now, a lot of people, even to this day I'm sure, will tell you that these kind of games aren't competitive. Now, the series will most likely never make it to something as grand as EVO. Yes, I know that for a fact. But like most games, like Smash for example, any fighting game can have a competitive scene, even if it wasn't intended to be competitive. Now, yes, I do believe some people take it a bit too far with the competitive aspect with these kind of games, because, like, you know, for example, calling yourself a pro player in these kind of games is it's a bit cringeworthy and overall inaccurate. Okay, the definition of a professional gamer, also known as an esports gamer, which might I add is not a thing for any kind of anime arena brawler, is someone who plays video games competitively for a living. Okay, they compete in esports leagues, regional and international events for money, titles, and glory. Now, you may be spending all your time playing this one game, but I can assure you, you aren't accumulating any revenue that could that you could live off of. So no, I'm sorry, buddy, but the $10 money matches don't count. I'm just talking shit, man. I know there's tournaments and stuff that can be hosted here and there for these games. Hell, I've even attended one myself. But you know, the cash prizes are never enough to warrant the title of pro player, you know? But I digress. The point is, these kind of games can and are played on a competitive level, but due to the simplicity of these kind of games, the skill ceiling is not high at all compared to that of a traditional fighter. This is something I realized years later after being introduced to a game called Street Fighter McFive. Shout out to that boy Shmug. Now, I had started watching a certain infamous figure, whom of which I will not name, within the FGC that I that I shouldn't have been watching to begin with, to be honest with you. Long story short, I became interested within the game, and a close friend of mine, whom of which I refer to as my brother now, Sinju in Japan, had got me to try out the game. Now, for someone who only knew of Storm, this gameplay was a breath of fresh air, man. I honestly couldn't believe the fact that I was enjoying the game, because growing up, fighting games just seemed far too intimidating for me to get into. I played a few, but I never learned anything. Like a combo? Shit, got me fucked up, man. Looking at that combo list for Mortal Kombat, that pretty much scarred me, okay? The point here is that fighting games always seemed too arduous to enjoy, at least for me. But that was no longer the case after trying Street Fighter V with a friend, okay? Before I knew it, I was hooked. Like, I couldn't stop playing it, and it got to a point where I would try to introduce new content to my channel that consisted of, you know, only Naruto content, okay? So I started to do crossovers with Street Fighter V and Naruto Storm 4. I even got into Tekken 7 shortly after Street Fighter V, and I ended up repeating the same thing with that game. This genre was becoming such an eye-opener for me that, you know, my interest in anime arena fighters quickly began to fade. There wasn't much left for me to learn within Storm 4, except for maybe a few more broken mechanics that I wasn't privy to. With that being said, I was content with my skill level and pretty much wanted nothing more out of that game. After Storm 4, more arena brawlers followed suit, you know, all lacking depth and quality. So I finally said the hell with this. I can't do no more anime arena brawlers. There was no more enjoyment nor growth for me as a content creator in that scene, you know? The community I had created only had an interest in that one game pretty much. So I had pretty much digged myself a hole with that channel that I just could not crawl out of. So I had lost damn near all support, and I pretty much just turned my back on it all and just deleted the channel. Hence the creation of this channel. A new channel where like 10 out of 6,000 subscribers came to support me on. Shout out to you all, by the way. But I digress, okay? I digress. After 7 years of playing just anime arena fighters, I had finally broadened my horizons with a genre I had neglected for so long, okay? Traditional fighting games had become my main interest, and there's just, not only is there so many out there, but there's just so much knowledge to gain from these games. Look, after Street Fighter V, my main fighting game ended up being a game that's considered the most technical in the genre. Who knew that a pleb such as myself, who only knew how to do combos with one button, would end up maining Tekken? Of all fighting games, Tekken. I could not believe the evolution that I was going through. For me, it seemed like these anime arena brawlers were just the gateway to something far more enjoyable, okay? Something with far more depth as opposed to going autopilot most of the time in an arena brawler, okay? That is, unless you are playing a high level player, because not only are you being strategic at that point, but you also have to think at a very quick pace, because the gameplay speeds up drastically. A lot of people have not seen high level play in an anime arena brawler such as Storm 4, so players from the FGC are quick to dismiss it, but you know, I'm not that kind of person. They can coexist. All I ask for is better quality and some originality with those games, man. And it seems to me that that's happening rather soon, okay? Because we do have 2 anime arena brawlers that might actually save these anime games. Those 2, of course, being Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and Bleach Rebirth of Souls. 2 games that I will be trying out. But that sums up this video, man. Do you play arena brawlers? If so, do you play traditional fighters as well? Or do you feel a bit too intimidated? Be honest, man. Let me know down in the comments section. I'll see y'all next time.
I thought I told her, stay the fuck away from me. Thought I loved her, but it's just a fucking change. I say what you want and never be like what you mean.